So we know that it's easier than ever to build features with AI, but are you building the right features? Do you know that they're driving your business goals and that they're what your users really want? Well, this is where experimentation comes in. I'm Ryan from GrowthBook, the largest open source experimentation platform in the world, and we help companies like Sony, Pepsi, and Dropbox test and learn because we believe companies that experiment understand their users better, and learning what doesn't work, that's just as valuable. It saves you from shipping features nobody wants. So experimentation can be incredibly powerful, but setting up an experiment can be tricky. Beginning with a new idea, a strong hypothesis, right on to implementing the experiment in your app, there are a lot of steps. But AI makes experimentation easier too. I'm going to show you how you can use GrowthBook and our MCP server to intelligently and rapidly prototype your next feature from idea to implementation. It's going to be pretty cool, so let's go. All right, let me set the scene by talking about 3 different components. We have here first GrowthBook, and I am on the experiments page for a health tech company called InternetMD. We'll take a look at their app in a second. What I want you to notice here is that we have about 80 experiments that have run, and we have a whole lot of different statuses. So we can see that there's some that have won, and there's some that have lost, and some that have been inconclusive. And I want you to notice that because we're going to leverage this experiment history, the history of the wins and losses and what was inconclusive, in order to make our AI more intelligent. And we'll get to that in a minute. But now I want to talk about the second component, which is this app for the InternetMD company. It's a patient dashboard that shows appointments, messages from your doctor, health score. You've probably used something like this for better or worse. And so this is what we're going to target with our next feature and experiment. So the third component is Cursor. I have the code base for that patient dashboard open. And importantly, I've installed GrowthBook's MCP server, which allows the AI to integrate directly with GrowthBook. And let's see what we can do. InternetMD has found that patients that engage with their dashboard are more likely to make appointments, refill prescriptions, and take advantage of available programs. With that goal in mind, let's work on a new feature to increase that engagement. While we could just ask the chatbot to propose some ideas, we can be smarter about it. We'll ask AI to fetch our previous experiments and analyze them for wins and losses, and we'll remind it that losses can be just as insightful as wins. So this is how I'm going to do that. I'm going to say, fetch my previous experiments, analyzing trends from the wins and losses with regard to user engagement. Remember that losses are just as instructive as wins. So again, what's making this possible is the GrowthBook MCP server. So you can see here that it's called this tool Get Experiments, and basically that brings in all that experiment data from GrowthBook that I showed you before in the GrowthBook dashboard. All right, so it's been a few moments, but the analysis is complete, as we can see here in the chat window. Let's scroll up and see what kinds of things it identified. Experiment analysis report user engagement trends from wins and losses. So based on your 81 experiments, I've identified several key patterns that reveal what drives user engagement in your healthcare platform. Here's my comprehensive analysis. So it tells us the summary of our wins and losses, our inconclusive and did not finish experiments. And here is what it's identified as the winning patterns. So what drives engagement? So visual and interactive elements. Personalization and AI-powered features are also successful. Social and family features are also successful. Accessibility and convenience are also have been successful. Let's though also see what hasn't worked. So over-engineering simple tasks. So a health goal wizard, for instance, lost. So that's interesting that it pulled out that insight. I don't think that's something that maybe would be super apparent. Visual complexity without clear value. So again, sacrificing simplicity for complexity. This is also a pretty interesting thing. And then it's also said technical features that add friction. So again, making things too complicated seems to really hurt engagement. That's pretty interesting, right? So key trends and recommendations. This is pretty interesting. So what to double down on? Visual symptom tracking. So people love visual symptom tracker, I guess. AI personalization, social features, and accessibility. So that gives us some nice areas to focus on. And then again, what to avoid in that technical barriers, the complicated flows. And so it's even identified some areas for future experimentation. So that's interesting. It's a good question of, well, so this hasn't worked in the past. We haven't seen it move one way or another. And so here the recommendation is, well, maybe we should try again. I think this analysis is pretty incredible, to be honest, that we can get this so quickly. And I would love to hear, if you do this with your own experiment data, what it comes back with. But there's still more. There's still more that we want to do, because the goal, right, is still to generate or create a new feature that will drive user engagement. So let's move on to that next step. I'm going to say, thanks. I want to create a new feature that will drive engagement. Based on this stellar analysis, propose three ideas that will improve this metric. Additionally, look at the health tech component to see how the dashboard is put together. Now, I could have put that more eloquently, but we'll see what it comes back with here. All right, so it's done. Let's scroll up. Based on your experiment analysis and the health tech component, I can see you have a solid foundation with feature flags already implemented. Here are three high-impact feature ideas that align with your winning patterns. All right, so this is what it's suggesting as its ideas. So the first one is an AI-powered health insights dashboard. Why it will win, your analysis shows AI personalization is a major winner. Health news personalization all one. So add a new health insights card to the dashboard that shows AI-generated patterns from user data. That's pretty interesting. So an AI-powered health insights dashboard. And it gives a bit more about how to implement this. All right, let's see at the second one, visual symptom tracker with photo integration. So your experiments show visual features consistently win. So it wants to add a symptom tracker section to the dashboard with visual body mapping. Allow users to upload photos of symptoms with AI-powered analysis. So show symptom history as an interactive timeline, include visual severity sliders and animated pain scales. Okay. So again, it's capitalizing on the fact that the visual experiments seem to go better. And then finally, let's see, it proposed a family health hub with social features. And so extend the existing family sharing features into a full family health hub, add family health goal tracking and shared care plans, include family health insights. Mom's blood pressure is trending well. That's interesting. I don't know if that's legal, but that is interesting. Of these three, I think I'm most intrigued by this AI health insights. And so let's engage a little bit more on that to refine the idea. All right, so this is how I'm going to follow up. I like the first idea and think that an AI health insights dashboard would be beneficial. Let's implement a version of this that surfaces a single insight or recommendation for the user when they log into the dashboard. Based on that data, how do you think this feature would do? All right, so let's see what the response is now. So it looks like it's generating some code, which is interesting. Okay, so it has a very rosy prediction about this. It's giving me a lot of the same information that I already have, but it's going in the direction that I want it to go. So what I'm going to now say is, I like it. Let's implement this in code and create a new experiment in GrowthBook. So I want to pause here just for a minute because I've done this 100 times, right? I've done this a lot, but every time it's a little bit magic when all of this comes together, because we've come up with an idea based on, lots and lots of data, which it's not easy for, right, me or you to kind of review 82 experiments, how they did, and try to find trends. But that's something that a large language model really excels at. And then not just that, but an implementation in code, a feature flag created in GrowthBook, and an experiment created in GrowthBook that's linked to that feature flag. So let's take a look and see what happened. So let's implement this AI Health Insight. So it's going on and doing that. It's updating the code here. And then it's calling the Create Experiment MCP tool to create that experiment in GrowthBook. And so because it now has the feature flag, it's actually implementing that feature flag in this code, checking for linting errors, and then running the app. So here's a summary of everything that happened. It's added the AI Health Insights components to the Health Tech dashboard with the feature flag. And so something that's nice that it does is it even gives us a link here to GrowthBook. So I'm going to open that. And let me bring it down here. So here it is, this AI Health Insights dashboard. It's in a draft state here, but we can see that it's given a description and even has this nice hypothesis that it generated. So if we display AI-generated personalized health insights on the dashboard, then user engagement will increase because users receive relevant, actionable recommendations based on their health data. Pretty good. We have the control and the treatment, and then here's the linked feature flag that will be used in the code. So let's come back to our code base here, and let's see what it did in the code base. All right, so we have this Health Insights component that it created, and here is that Insights dashboard with the whole feature. So this is the proper way to do the feature flag in GrowthBook, which is really cool. So it already has it set up to implement the experiment. And then right now it's, of course, hard-coded some of these insights. That would be something that you would have to follow up and build out. And that's no small feat, but it is right in line with what this Internet MD company would be doing anyway. So we have here then the insight, the feature flag, and the card that's showing it. In the next section, I'm going to actually give you the big reveal, and we can see what this feature actually looks like on the site. It's now time for the big reveal. Let's see what we are able to build with GrowthBook and Cursor. All right, so here I am on the existing dashboard page. It has a lot of features, very well structured, all that. And now I'm going to click on to this other tab to see this new AI-powered health insights. All right, so we can see it. It's here right at the top. AI Health Insight. Don't forget, you have a prescription refill due in 3 days. Schedule it now to avoid gaps. Refill now. This could be very helpful. It surfaces, information to act on. But I'm a little underwhelmed, to be honest. So the nice thing is that it's very easy to go back and iterate. And let's try that. So I'm going to say here that this feature is going in the right direction, but let's look back at our experiment and analysis and see if there's a way to improve it. First, look for a few directions we might go. So I'm going to see what we can kind of think about to make this insights feature even better. So the thing that I thought would be interesting out of this was the visual enhancement. So I'm going to say that visual enhancement seems most compelling, especially a chart or progress bar or something that makes the data more engaging. So now we're already iterating on this first version of the feature. You can see that the code is changing here. All right, it is all done and it's given us, let's see here, a prescription countdown focus, which is pretty interesting. Let's pop on over and see what it looks like in the app. All right, I'm liking this. So we have our AI health insight, and there's this prescription alert. So your metformin prescription expires in 3 days. Schedule a refill to avoid gaps in treatment. So that's kind of exciting. I like this a lot. I think this is an interesting idea. If it could predict, right, when you're going to run out of a prescription or when it's going to expire, and it can tell you that you need to get a refill, this could be very helpful, right? If you log into this dashboard, get an alert that your prescription's about to run out, that they're predicted, through the usage, that there's only so much left. And, sometimes those things are easy to forget about. So I think this is actually a feature that has a lot of promise. To recap, this feature is based on our previous experiments, wins and losses. And the more data you had, the better it would be at coming up with something. Remember, this is in code as a feature flag, as an experiment. If you get somewhere where it's like, oh, that looks good to me, you could go ahead and ship it. So we got pretty far in a short amount of time. What we just did here is pretty remarkable. We used AI not just as a code generator or text generator, but as an intelligent partner that understood our experiment history, learned from our wins and losses, and helped us prototype the next feature to test, all in a matter of minutes. This is the power of combining AI with the right tools and context. We didn't just ask AI to make something better, we gave it real data, real patterns, real insights from past experiments. And it used that knowledge to propose something grounded in what actually works for our users. But here's what really excites me. This isn't about running experiments right away. It's about getting started. The empty page is menacing. Where do you even begin? What hypothesis do you test? How do you implement it? But when AI can give you the shape of something real, something you can see and touch and refine, suddenly the path forward becomes clear. It's like having a rough draft instead of a blank document. You might change everything about it, but at least you're editing, not staring at a blinking cursor. And that shift from creation to iteration, that's where the magic happens. This is the future we're building at GrowthBook, where AI doesn't just help you code faster, but helps you understand your users better, where every engineer can think like a product manager and every product manager can ship like an engineer. Want to try this yourself? Getting started is easy. Sign up for GrowthBook. It's completely free and open source. Install our MCP server into your AI tool of choice, whether that's Cursor, Claude, or whatever you're using. Links to everything in the description below. And if you're already experimenting, drop a comment about what you've learned from your users lately. The best insights often come from the most surprising places. Thanks for watching, and remember, ship, learn, iterate. That's how great products are built.